Before we begin the video, I'd like to give a big shout out to our most recent Patreon supporters, Snake VR, Luis Alvarez, Max Ratliff, Landon Ladeau, Michael Abeta, and Goyulas200. Thank you so much for your support, and if you want to support us on Patreon, feel free to click the link down below in the description to find out more. Thanks again.
It's dead meat, bitch. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
You gotta have the bitch in there. You gotta go full. Actually, I guess Jesse Pinkman's really copying Freddy Krueger, because yeah, bitch, yeah, science, bitch. It's like yeah, bitch, magnets. I could actually see some of the if Jesse Pinkman was like a more ferocious individual from Breaking Bad, and he was gonna shoot someone in the head, be like, "Welcome to primetime, bitch, pow." And just and they'll be on primetime news, so primetime news is a dead body, so that actually would have worked pretty well. But I guess Freddy Krueger sort of got a corner on the market of saying bitch way before Jesse Pinkman.
He was on it.
Yes, he was, and Robert, and I guess we're coming up to the last what a lot of people consider to be good not Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street film. Up until New Nightmare, a lot of people say this is the last good one, and it's got some creativity in it, but this is where they fully embrace the campiness.
They're still kind of enjoyable after this point. They just kind of gradually went downhill, like in terms of like being like horror. If that makes any sense. Like they were still horror movies, but they just got too goofy to really take seriously at all after this one.
Yeah.
But this one and on really got too goofy to take seriously at all. But I don't know. I still kind of enjoyed all of them that I watched. Like New Nightmare was okay as well, but I felt like there was not quite enough Freddy in New Nightmare. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah. Like I actually went and caught back up and rewatched all the ones I'd only seen once.
Okay.
A couple of days ago. So that was this one through New Nightmare.
Okay.
Also, fun fact, I'm pretty sure James mentioned this in the last one. It was something that I thought as well, was that they added the fact that he was a child molester in the remake. There is actually a newspaper article in Freddy's Dead that says child molester burned on
Oh, okay.
So he actually was referred to as one in that one. So
okay.
that was interesting. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. I thought he was just a child killer throughout the original series.
Well,
so yeah.
The more you know.
Slightly more detestable that way.
The less you want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
sometimes not knowing is for the better.
Yeah. And well, the kill count for A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, is queued up here. Let's get it on screen and let's see what old James boy has got to say about Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. Here we go.
Is there going to be any wizards?
Welcome to the Kill Count.
Hopefully the kills will be more
in all our
interesting.
favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, released in 1988. The Dream Master continues the story from Dream Warriors, featuring the surviving characters from that movie, like Joey and Kincaid, and wait, who's that blonde chick? Oh, I guess that's supposed to be Kristen Parker, now played by Tuesday Knight instead of Patricia Arquette, for reasons people weirdly can't seem to agree upon, even though I think it's just because she was pregnant. After Dream Warriors made
she was
the Dream Master turned him into the hero of the series. Inexperienced Finnish director Rennie Harlin wanted Freddy to be a cool guy, quote, like James Bond, and so the one-liners continued and increased. The screenplay was seriously hampered by a writer's
That's
strike
actually my favorite Freddy makeup, I think, though, out of the series.
Before being shot, and Harlan wound up
he looks really cool in
surreal
this one.
dream visuals than a storyline that makes any sense. But that's okay, those cool visuals led to some pretty sweet kills, so let's get to them. The movie begins with a quote, because I guess that's what we're doing in this series now. Kristen Mark II comes across a little girl in her chalk art exhibit of the Elm Street house before Mother Nature washes it away like a goddamn Philistine. And now the house is standing right in front of her, complete with some jump rope girls and a ballin' boy backup performer. Kristen winds up inside the house, unable to escape it as the doors play funhouse tricks on her. And then Tuesday Night speaks to herself aloud to let the audience know she is the Kristen now.
Become Kristen.
A storm blows her back all the way into a boiler room, which spooks her out so much she ends up calling on our boy Kincaid and pulling him into her her dreams.
Oh, shit, Kristen, not again.
And also Joey, who's looking much older and is talking a bunch more. They tell Kristen that she needs to quit pulling them into her dreams because Freddy's dead. They're trying to get some goddamn sleep. Looks like they may be right, since the only thing that attacks them in this dream is Kincaid's dog, who bites Kristen's arm. Oh yeah, the dog's name is Jason. Wonder if that's a reference to anything. The next morning, Kristen goes to pick up her friend Alice Johnson.
I kinda saw it that
Dad
way.
is a real prick.
You going out dressed like that?
Dude, she looks like she's going to a Catholic parish bake sale. What's your problem? That dad is so douchey, Alice's brother Rick exits his house through a window just to avoid it and gives Kristen a smooch because that's her boyfriend. They get to school and meet up with her friend Debbie, who stands there eye-fucking this jock.
Swear to God, she looks like a young
Looks like
Stephen
Alice
Nicks.
is a Dan fan too.
You know, you are one major league hunk.
Thanks, Alice.
Even if she only has that kind of confidence in her daydreams. Another friend, Sheila, rolls up on a smoky moped type deal, and judging by her big old glasses and asthma condition, it's obvious this chick's a nerd, but she a cutie too. There's a seemingly random moment where Debbie finds a bug in her bag of chips and gets super grossed out, and is literally just here to shoehorn in a character trait for Freddy to use in a kill later. That happens a lot in this movie. Looks like Kincaid and Joey go to the same school, having successfully reintegrated into society after being chased around a psych ward by a dream demon. They tell new Kristen to let Sleeping Freddy's lie, and that there's no reason to keep using her dream power anymore. After they leave for class, Rick calls them a bunch of weirdos. But might want to check the color of that kettle, dude, because you're the one doing an extended Karate Kid practice session to some Dramarama in the garage that night. Maybe this is just his way of dealing with having such a piss-poor excuse for a parent.
Looking for something?
Oh, no, Papa. Nothing except your love and approval. But instead, Daddy Johnson just berates Alice about the dinner she made for him.
You call this vegetation a meal after a 10-hour workday? What the hell am I, a rabbit?
Yeah, can we get Freddy in this dude's dreams ASAP? Alice seemingly takes matters into her own hands, but it's just another daydream. What's up with this chick? She's dreaming so much, she may just be a master of it by now. Oh, I think I get it. Speaking of dreams, Kincaid falls asleep and wakes up in one of his own, in the trunk of a car at the junkyard from the last movie. And Jason the dog seems to be digging up some old bones.
This is one of the main reasons that this movie sucks compared to the last
one. Oh, the
one.
dog pisses fire. Okay, Kincaid, you gotta stop putting kerosene in the kibble, man. The fire cracks into the ground where Freddy's skeleton is lying in pieces, but not for long. It reassembles itself and begins to grow organs and skin and blood in a manner very similar to Frank Cotton in Hellraiser, which had just come out the year before. Interesting. More fire gives Freddy his glove back, and with the
never thought
donning of
about
the dirty
that.
fedora, it looks like we're Looney Tunes back in action.
You shouldn't have buried me. I'm not dead.
He uses his powers to possess a bunch of junk vehicles, which trap Kincaid in the middle of a car maze so big and confusing that you could probably use it to trap a hotel-possessed father. Then he appears right next to Kincaid and stabs him in the gut. Fred stabs him again and is all like, there, Kincaid, I know, we're killing you off way too early in this movie. And with the third and final stab,
And with a way too lame of a way.
As his poor pup wonders what's happening to his human. Poor Jason. Maybe if you wait 15 years, you can get revenge on Freddy. Well, if we got rid of Kincaid, might as well get rid of Joey too. He's fallen asleep with his MTV and steals a peep at this bikini model on the wall right before drifting off to dreamland. In his dreams, his waterbed's like a wave pool, and inside that bed is the woman of his very horny dreams. Before he can figure out a way to breach the barrier between them, though, she sinks away, and up comes Freddy, who's got the most obvious one-liner in store for this kill.
How's this for a wet dream?
He pulls Joey into the waterbed and kills him with his finger knife.
I
Pretty
like
basic
that
kill
line,
for
though.
Krueger, albeit a wet rendition. But at least we get this nice shot of a bloody waterbed at the end of it. And there's another cool shot when his mom comes in his room later to find him dead in the bed.
Oh,
The next day,
that's a
Kristen's
good
smoking
shot. I
stress
like
in
that.
bed, and she chats with Alice about how they've both been having nightmares. Then Alice drops the movie's title on us.
Did you ever hear of the Dream Master? It's a rhyme. Just have to dream about someplace fun. Remember, you're in control.
I don't get it. Is that the rhyme, or? But instead,
It's not
let's
a
learn
rhyme.
yourself
That's-
more thoroughly. The two of them
a
just keep
statement.
incessantly talking about their dreams, like they're a couple of young actors who just moved to LA. Actors. When they go to class, Kristen sees that both Kincaid and Joey are missing, so she freaks out. All right, and winds up knocking herself out in the corner. She comes to in the nurse's office, but does that lady look a little English to you? Yeah, she does, but she's Robert England, and that nurse is Freddy.
I want to draw some blood.
But Kristen would prefer a proper phlebotomist, so she wakes up from that nightmare, and that's that. Apparently, Alice works at this Back to the Future-style diner where Dan the handsome man stops by looking for her brother, because I guess he and Rick are buds. Debbie, meanwhile, wants to be more than buds with Dan, and wonders aloud where he works out.
I mean, there is life after exercise.
Yeah, that line is another shoehorned character trait for Deb, since apparently these filmmakers have never heard of Show Don't Tell. Rick and Kristen walk in with breaking news: Kincaid and Joey dead overnight. Find out more in Act 2. They take Alice and Dapper Dan to Freddy's house, where Rick talks about Krueger's backstory in case anyone in the audience was still in the dark during the fourth fucking movie of the series. The house prompts Alice to remember the Dream Master rhyme.
Now I lay me down to sleep. The master of dreams, my soul I'll keep. Dream Master, I think I remember the rhyme.
Okay, wait, so that's the rhyme? Is that it? Before we can explore what the fuck Alice is talking about, Kristen's mom starts honking at them and doing her best Speedy Gonzalez impression.
On delay! On delay! On delay!
They have dinner where Kristen's mom pretends that Tuesday night has always been her daughter. Patricia who drugs her with sleeping pills because it's way easier to parent when your kid's unconscious. Kristen runs up to her room where some well-done overhead camera movements really capture the feel of someone falling asleep while fighting to stay awake. Kristen loses the fight and wakes up on a beach, but there's something speeding around the water just offshore. Is it a shark? Is it a dolphin? Nope, it's a Freddy glove, and it's headed right for us. Freddy blows up a sandcastle and appears on the beach, and when Kristen tries to run away, she winds up in some quicksand. Freddy's all like, deal with it, bitch, and steps on her head to push her down through the sand. You'd think that might be it, but nah, she crashes through a ceiling, and we're back in that fucking house. God damn it. Hey, Elm Street franchise? Yeah, we don't actually care that much about the house. We're here for Freddy. Kristen runs downstairs, and
too bad. It's gonna be there the whole
Freddy
thing.
Appears and tells her to call one of her friends into the dream because the more the merrier. Kristen doesn't want to, but she accidentally summons Alice, who joins her in the boiler room.
How sweet. Fresh meat.
She gets there just in time to see Freddy toss Kristen into a furnace and show off his nasty soul chest. Then, okay, follow me here if you can. Kristen's all like, yo Alice, you'll need my dream power, direct quote, and throws a spirit ball or something into Freddy, who then regurgitates that shit like an owl pellet back into Alice. So yeah, I guess that happened. Alice wakes up and finds a postcard picture from Freddy, so she grabs Rick and they run to Kristen's house. Sure enough, there's a light over at the Kristen Parker place. And that light is a raging inferno that they find consuming Kristen in bed. Bummer. Just like that, all the Dream Warriors are dead. But who will be our main character? Oh, probably the Dream Master chick, huh? Kristen is buried in the Springwood Protagonist Cemetery, and her death leaves Alice feeling different.
True.
She tells Rick.
Something happened in the dream, and now it's like part of her is with me.
Must be the part with the nicotine addiction, because at school the next day, Alice goes to light up in the bathroom, only stopping when she realizes...
I don't smoke.
You sure you didn't light up in that classroom too, Alice? Because this place looks hazier than a Sterling Cooper boardroom. With the big test underway, Sheila learns that she might not have studied the proper material. And how exactly is this happening? Well, because Alice is a real C- student and fell asleep in class, apparently pulling Sheila into her dream. The test really starts to consume Sheila. Her arm gets pulled into the paper, and then an Inspector Gadget robot arm nonsensically comes out and grabs her in the face. Watch it, Sheila. I don't think Professor Freddy's gonna appreciate all this class clowning around. He walks over to the star pupil and gets pretty predatory with her. There's that classic tongue waggle. Let's hear one of your famous Freddy one-liners.
Wanna suck the face?
And with that, he starts sucking all the air right out of her, collapsing her dream body in a real gnarly way and leaving it looking like a Sheila-shaped hot water pad. In real life, Sheila's fully inflated but unable to breathe, and she dies in the classroom from lack of air. Alice realizes that she pulled Sheila into her dream and got her killed, so she runs away from her friends in an awkward crying mess. Her brother chases after her, looking like he's part of the Breakfast Club. That night, Dan comes to the diner and asks Alice why exactly Freddy might be after her.
Bender.
Maybe Freddy can't get to the new kids unless there's someone to bring them to him.
At school the next day, we get our obligatory Bob Shaye cameo as he lectures on about more Dream Master bullshit. But none of it even makes any goddamn sense. Alice falls asleep in class while Rick falls asleep on the toilet, which can definitely happen if you're tired enough. Trust me, I know. Rick starts having a Freddy nightmare with a personal cheer squad in the stall. But wait a minute, I thought Alice could pull people into dreams without the other person falling asleep? Why'd we need Rick to fall asleep? This fucking movie, man. Rick finds himself in a bathroom that looks like it'd be part of an underground club in 80s New York. Kristen's there, but she's all burned and gross. And then the stall turns into an elevator that transports Rick down to a karate dojo. In one of the dumbest scenes of the franchise, Rick fights an invisible Freddy, swinging his limbs around wildly, accompanied by cheesy sound effects. This literally happened because they ran out of money and had already filmed Rick's funeral scene, so they need to kill him off somehow. Look at how cheap this set looks. It's just a bunch of fucking bed sheets. So dumb. Eventually, the Finger Knife Glove, -1 Freddy Krueger, launches itself into Rick's gut and kills him, ending the life of our pantomiming Ralph Macchio. Ralph Macchio? Business is booming for Springwood coffin bakers. During Rick's funeral, Alice has a daydream where we get this unfortunate moment.
Hello, baby.
Oh, God.
Slam it
please
shut.
stop. There's really no point to this Rick hallucination, so we'll just stick him back in the coffin and pretend like that never happened. Now the only friends Alice has left are Dan and Debbie, and we don't even know anything about these two.
I mean, look, I don't spend hours working out to let some night stalker beat me.
Oh yeah, that's right. Debbie's apparently into exercise. Even though we're an hour into this movie and we see no visible evidence of that. At home, Alice demonstrates that she's still absorbing the paper-thin character traits of her dead friends and family because now she's good at karate. Or at least her stunt double is. Alice goes to meet Dan at the diner, but when he's not there, I guess she decides it's a good time to take in a movie. Ooh, Reefer Madness. I hope it's the Kristen Bell one. Nah, looks like it's the one from the 30s, which is actually a little inside joke since Bob Shaye had distributed copies of that movie to help finance New Line Cinema early on. on. But then the movie turns into a reel of the diner gone desolate, and Alice's snacks start getting sucked towards the screen. Yo, killing is one thing, Freddy, but that soda probably cost like $10, alright? Not cool.
Right.
That's actually a cool
pulls
shot.
Alice herself into the screen in a great effect. This movie may be nonsensical, but it does have some cool visuals. She looks out at herself sleeping in the theater like it's one of those crazy shots from Dreamcatcher, and inside the diner finds an old version of herself. What does she come across next? The monolith and the space baby? Freddy shows up and gets his order of meatball pizza. Bet you got a couple of jokes lined up for us here, huh, Fred?
Rick, you little meatball. I love soul food.
Aw, sick. And then he eats that little Rick ball. Gross. He tells Alice to bring in more victims, and she accidentally opens the door to Debbie, who, holy shit, is actually working out, even though her form is pretty suspect. That is one narrow freaking grip you've got there, Deb. Alice gets back to the diner. She and Dan get into the truck. They rush to go save Debbie. And Deb's too busy with her gains to notice Freddy's come to spot her. Alice and Dan get to Deb's house. Alice runs across the lawn to save Deb, then Alice gets back to the diner. She and Dan get into the truck. They rush to go save Debbie. And Deb finds Freddy giving her some resistance training and delivering the obvious no pain, no gain line as he rips her arms apart at the elbow. I absolutely love this effect. It's so well done that it's almost hard to watch. Look at them floppy broken arms. Then, because Freddy wants to work both of Debbie's shoehorned character traits into her death, he makes it so cockroach arms sprout out of her stumps and her shoulders. And there goes a hand. The transformation leaves Deb running around a dim hallway looking like a rejected Spider-Man villain. Alice and Dan get to Deb's house. Alice runs across the lawn to save Deb, then Alice gets back to the diner. She and Dan get into the truck. They rush to go save Debbie. Deb finds herself inside a roach motel, looking out at her empty bench and no doubt thinking about all the reps she's missing out on. Her feet get trapped in that nasty sap stuff, and then she falls face first into it. When she tries to lift her head out of the glue, her face just comes straight off, including her buggy transformation. Meanwhile, Alice gets back to the diner, but before she and Dan can get into the truck, they finally catch on to the fact that they're asleep, and Freddy has them running in circles. Cockroach Deb finally meets her end after struggling with her motel's amenities for a while. Freddy's giant eye peeps in as he bungles an Eagles lyric.
You can check in, but you can't check out.
And he finishes her long drawn-out death sequence by crushing her within the box. Alice and Dan see Freddy standing in the middle of the road, so Alice floors it to wreck his shit, but instead she just wrecks the vehicle. Oh, and apparently she did that because she inherited Debbie's rage? That whole thing is so dumb. In reality, Alice actually crashed the truck into a tree, which nearly killed Dan. GFJ Alice. At the hospital, Alice realizes the doctors are going to put Dan under anesthesia, which will leave him susceptible to a Freddy infection, so she rushes off to go prepare herself for a fight. And since time is so limited, you know what she needs: a montage. She gets dressed and accessorizes with all the crap her dead friends have left her, and then looks into the mirror and pretends to be cool.
Fucking A.
Dan is put under and wakes up in
Wrong
dreamland
answer.
to Dr.
Please try again.
I'm sorry, Doc. What'd you say your name was again?
It ain't Dr. Seuss.
Then Alice jump kicks through her ear and winds up in the hospital room, okay, and unties Dan from his hospital bed. They run through a pipe with some classic Supo squigglies cut out in the sides, and when Freddy appears on the other end, he starts spinning it around like it's some kind of crazy tunnel at DZ Discovery Zone. This is just silly, dude. What is Freddy even doing here? The kids crash through a stained glass window and fall into a church. Dan cuts himself deep in the process, and after it bleeds through into the real world, his doctors wake him up from the anesthesia. This yanks Dan out of the dream world and back to reality, leaving Alice alone as Freddy strolls into the church with a one-liner.
Welcome to Wonderland, Alice.
She uses her newly inherited karate skills to do a bunch of flippy dips and then punch and kick the crap out of Freddy like dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Although none of this seems to faze him, since he just keeps laughing his dickish laugh the entire time. Eventually he tosses her across the room, but she gets back up and uses some MacGyver
old school Andre the
bullshit to
Giant.
pick up a Ghostbusters-looking blaster that zaps a hole straight clean through Freddy's torso. Freddy don't care though, he just waxes it off and tells Alice that he is eternal. But of course, Alice has to be triumphant somehow, and the way it happens is drenched in weak sauce. Some jump rope girls on break in the rafters remind Alice of that Dream Master line she's been yammering about this whole movie, which apparently ends like this.
Evil will see itself.
And it shall die!
Yep, you heard right. Evil will see itself and die. And I guess that's what's happening here as we rollick through Freddy's digestive tract and see all the souls that he's eaten. The souls start punching out of Freddy's body, and although I'm not a fan of that Dream Master rhyme ending, or really the whole chest full of souls thing in general, I will say that the effects here are absolutely awesome, and a great example of how combining different effect techniques can result in something beautiful. Oh, and one of the escaping souls is played by Scream Queen Linnea Quigley. She shows her boobs, of course. Eventually, all the escaping souls rip Freddy's jaw off and escape through his broken mouth hole, leaving nothing behind but an empty sweater and a lonely finger knife glove. I am including this as a kill, and in retrospect, probably should have counted Freddy's death in Dream Warriors too. My bad. The happy soulheads fly past Alice as they escape through the window into the night sky. Alice leaves the church, which leads into a denouement that shows her and Dan together talking about how easy sleep has come lately. But when Dan tosses a coin in the fountain, Alice sees Freddy in the reflection. Or does she? I mean, she definitely did, but he's not there anymore. Who's to say what that means? Other than the fact that there would definitely be another sequel. But instead of worrying about future installments, we've got to focus on the now, man, and the kills that the Dream Master gave us. So let's see how bad of an idea wearing a green shirt was and get to the numbers. Oh, hey, not bad. 7 people died in the Dream Master.
Yeah, they really highlight the yellow
I will.
to really
Victims
make it
included
not
4 guys and 3 girls,
disappear.
which means Freddy once again killed his victims in a fair and balanced way. At a runtime of 93 minutes, that comes out to a kill on average about every 13 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Debbie. I love how drawn out her death is, starting with the elbow breakage and advancing to a
They actually put some
Gregor's
imagination
the entire
into that one for
transformation looks
sure.
great.
Yes.
It's even got the fun dream loop thing going on while it happens. Easy winner in my mind.
All the skill goes to Kincaid?
Skill goes to Rick, who died in that stupid
Rick,
fucking
okay.
invisible
Yeah.
karate scene.
I would have said Kincaid because Kincaid deserved to go out on a better.
At least Freddy's glove flew across the room on that one, you know?
Yeah. Freddy film until 2003's Freddy vs. Jason. People loved it
As
so
opposed to him
much
just
that
being
the
like,
sequel came out just
like
under
he
a year
always
later.
does.
And we'll look at that one, The Dream Child, next week. Until then, I'm James Jayden Dove. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching my Kill Count for the Dream Master. I want to thank some of my patrons like Will Sternick and Charles Hall. We have now left the nightmare movies that I love and are getting into the stuff that I don't love. I did wind up doing a live stream playthrough of the Nightmare on Elm Street NES game. If you missed it, click up there to see that video. And I will let you know that on Monday it will be a Kill Count. And yes, it's a movie relevant to next week's holiday. See y'all then. Be good people.
Hell yeah, man.
Alrighty.
It always makes watching movies that were not my favorites like more enjoyable, or like, you know, recounting the movies at least.
Yeah, I get that. Truthfully, man, I see these films and I'm just like, I can applaud the imagination behind them to a certain degree, especially body horror stuff.
Yeah.
Like the stuff on the bench, Freddy getting ripped to pieces and all that. It's just
fucking gross.
Even
it is, but it's really well done.
Even the nerdy girl like getting like all like shriveled and
yeah, I mean that's imaginative
sucking air out
stuff.
of her.
And to me, I was really
every once in a while you can tell they just didn't have a better idea than just having him stab somebody though.
Yeah, that karate shit was lame.
Yeah, the karate shit was lame. Kincaid's death was lame.
Yeah, it was.
The waterbed one, inventive.
Yeah,
like
not
you
bad.
see him dying in the water and the waterbed.
It was actually him
and then-
succeeding at doing something he attempted to do to Nancy in the first movie, which was drown somebody.
Yes.
And actually succeeded in.
Yeah, and he
like
did it in a
drowning
cool way
someone.
because
Yeah.
the waterbed was still sealed, and he was found inside the waterbed when it was still sealed.
Yeah.
How did he do that?
Me and
I mean,
Andrew
it's
were talking
crazy
about that.
stuff.
It's like
Good stuff.
you would think someone would have said something about that. Like, how the fuck did he get inside the waterbed?
Exactly. That's what I
Like,
said too.
That makes no sense.
But Kincaid deserved to go out in a like last ditch effort struggle against
As the
Freddy.
best character
instead
from
of-
the previous movie,
Instead of
that's bullshit.
circled around by junked cars and screaming like a bitch, nah. He'd have pushed over a tower of cars on top of Freddy.
Oh, he did. He did.
Oh,
before
that's
he
right.
died.
Yeah, he did. He did do that.
Yeah, it just didn't help.
No. But he would have like picked up a car and threw it at Freddy and just all this other ridiculous stuff because he's Kincaid. He's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
And for him to go out like that is just ugh.
It's disappointing. It's definitely one of
Very.
the things that put a bad taste in my mouth about the movie for sure.
Yeah. Not only that, but not having Patricia Arquette as the lead from 3 in 4.
It was a little weird as well.
Well, it's because she was preggo at the time. I mean, these films were on a very tight schedule and a very tight budget, and if you couldn't meet the schedule, I mean, they replaced you. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, as much as these the first like 1, 3, and 4 are great films. I mean, I still find problems with them, but nowhere near as much as the others. Like 2 is where problems sort of dawn their ugly head, and then 5 is where it just like went completely off the rails.
Yeah.
I remember going back and watching 5, and I'm just like, I am actually bored by this film, like especially after they kill the comic book kid.
I wasn't. That's 6.
No, that's 5.
6. I just watched them, man. Like, trust me, it's in Freddy's Dead that the comic book kid gets killed. He's friends with the guy with the hearing aid. Like,
the one where Freddy kills him after becoming Super Freddy.
pretty sure. I mean, unless I'm just my ADD is completely acting up on me.
Because I can remember that
Yeah.
being 5 because I remembered seeing it and watching it all the way up until that point and just being like, that was pretty cool. And then after that, I'm just like...
Because they had... Who did they have in Freddy's Dead besides that? Like, I can't remember the full cast from 5.
I know it happened because that was the last appearance of Johnny Depp in the franchise, because he appeared in that a parody of the This Is Your Brain on Drugs.
Yeah. No, that's Freddy's Dead, actually, for sure. Like, that one definitely is because he was one of the first people to die. No, he died after the hearing aid kid. He was laying on the couch in the house, the same house that the hearing aid kid fell asleep in the bed upstairs. So, Your Brain on Drugs one was definitely Freddy's Dead. I can tell you that one I know 100%.
Okay.
Because, that was the stoner guy. And he was like... it was like they killed the hearing aid kid first. And that was the scene that I originally saw when I first saw that movie over at Chris Crocker's house. Whenever I was little.
That's right.
Elementary
He knew
school.
Chris Crocker.
Yeah, and like when I saw that guy's head explode, I was just like, nope, I'm out. Like, I was like, fuck that. I'm good.
Bitch.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have much to add to this conversation when it comes to Freddy Krueger movies, because the large majority of my time watching them was spent hiding from watching them when my cousin had locked me in a room. Like, he took great pleasure in locking me in a room at my grandmother's house and making me watch Friday the 13th and Freddy Krueger movies.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. No, because here was my thing. I remember, like, I was a good kid up until about 8 or 9 years old. Because even when I heard about, like, PG-13 films, I left because I found out what the rating was, and I was like, nope, I can't be in here for watching this. And then I remembered one night I was just like, what's all this hubbub about Friday the 13th? And then I looked, and one of the channels that I had access to was one of the movie channels. I think it was HBO at the time. And I tuned in on HBO and found out that one of the Friday the 13th movies was going to be on there. And I think it was part 6. Yeah, it was, because it was the one where he gets resurrected in the grave.
Jason Goes to Hell?
No. Jason Goes to Hell is 9. The Jason Lives is number 6. That's the one where it starts out with Tommy Jarvis going to the and digging up Jason's grave to see if he's really dead, and then he plants the spike from the fence in there, and it gets struck by lightning, and then Jason comes back to life.
I think I might have been wrong. You might be right about that being 5 with the comic book guy.
Holy shit! Damn.
But yeah, Freddy's Dead is definitely where
Johnny Depp
shows up.
Yeah. Well,
what's the Friday?
So it was Spencer, Carlos, and Tracy,
the
and
hits
the
the
other guy.
Oh, that's number 8.
8.
Yeah, that's Jason Goes to Manhattan.
That one was funny as hell because it had the boxing scene.
Oh yeah, it's like, actually I had a friend who used to do YouTube videos way back in the day. He actually synced out something like that. Like, it shows the whole scene with him like getting punched all the way to the edge, and then eventually he just looks at Jason. He's just like, "Take your best shot," and then Jason grabs him by his shirt, and then all of a sudden you just hear Falcon Pa! Shit, his head goes flying.
Yeah, that was
one of the funniest things I ever saw back then.
Because here's Jason, walking around the city and just...
Yeah, and he walks up on these vatos who are just, like, about to kill him. Like, they pull out a knife, and then he brings his mask up and shows them how fucked up his face is. And they're like, never mind, man. Fuck the stereo. It was good shit. It was good shit. And then he drowns that one guy in like the green ooze shit in the trash can. And then there was a bullshit scene where they were in the sewers, and it's just like, don't you know, in New York City the sewers run with toxic waste. I'm like, that's not true. What the fuck? This isn't like fucking 3 Mile Island or Chernobyl. This is New York City. If there was toxic waste that floods the sewers every night, people would fucking complain about that.
Yeah.
Well.
Not Jason, though. He's just enjoying the view.
No, he wasn't, dude, because honestly, he saw that and he melted and became a child again for some reason.
Wasn't there, like, a scene in that movie where he sees a hockey mask on a sign or something, and he's just like...
Yeah, he sees it, tilts his head sideways a little bit, and then goes back to killing. Because I remember number 8, there was actually one where it was this girl who was like real slutty, who was like trying to seduce her professor, and had a guy record him coming in and her like grabbing him and kissing him forcefully while she was like in her underwear. and the guy actually tried to negotiate. Well, he's like, got the tape right here. She gets the tape, and he's like, so can I get a reward for that? And she's like, get out. And then I also remember because Kelly Hu was all from the Scorpion King, the witch from the Scorpion King. She was in that. She was actually the one who got killed on the dance floor by teleporting Jason, because it was at that point Jason just stopped trudging after people and just started teleporting, which didn't make any sense. And I'm like, why didn't he use that later in the film? And if he could use that during this scene, why could... Never mind.
I think he's like Goku's third cousin. So that explains his mental issues and his ability to teleport.
Fair enough.
Probably.
Yeah, I noticed they gave you like the ability to just like teleport in the Friday the 13th game.
Really?
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, no. I was happy about that because you got pretty much all the powers of Jason. And I loved playing that game. I still do like it every now and again. It's just ever since the whole thing with the ownership of Friday the 13th changed, Gun Media pretty much had to stop production on the game and not put out any more shit because Sean Cunningham lost full creative control of the series because he was the director of the original. But how contracts were back then, the writers barely got any like creation credit, and Sean Cunningham had all the credit, had like all the creation credit for it, but then the writer was just like, but it was my idea, and thus he actually went to court over it, and Sean Cunningham lost, and now it's up in the air as to when there's new shit that's going to be coming out from it, and they're saying that hopefully by Halloween season this year they'll have an announcement whether or not they'll be able to do new shit, because they were making a Jason X with the Jason X level and a whole bunch of other levels and other shit, and adding more kills in, which I'm all about. But yeah, it's a whole unfortunate situation that developed with that, and I hate it because I love that game a lot, especially when you're playing with friends and you're just like, hey guys, hey, I'm at your door. I'm the party pooper. I'm coming in. And then they're just like, hold on, call the police. And I'm like, oh, you're going to call the police? Not if I kill the power. Pow. And I kill the power. And they're like, damn it. And I'm just like, what you going to do now, huh? What you going to do, brother? And,
probably die.
Yeah, and then I'd catch one of them running away, and I'd take him over to a tree, like a broken tree stump, and I'd like choke slam them onto the tree stump and kill them that way. Those are my favorite ways to do it, because every time I do it, I go, choke slam! Choke slam! Choke slam! They just choke slammed him to hell! And then there was another one where you actually got the bird bath, and he like put you down on the stand of the bird bath, and then he crushed your head with the plate of the bird bath.
Down.
And then there was another one where he actually rammed the back of your head into a coat hanger and left you hanging there. I always loved
Jason would be the dickhead to leave you hanging.
He would. Well, I love the kill variety in that game because they spared no expense on doing that. Mm-hmm. And if you get a Jason that is really resistant and can like walk around and kill people, I love killing people with the doors.
But what if, and hear me out here.
Go for it.
What if they were to add Tucker and Dale to that game? And he's like,
oh my lord.
And Jason's like chasing them, but like somehow they've accidentally set the rug somewhere, and it's just a bunch of Jason like dying and coming back, getting pissed off because they're like terrified of him, but they're accidentally killing him over and over again.
Yeah, like they set up, they're just like, now don't touch that board up there, it's loose, it's got a lot of nails in it. And then they're like, don't open the door. And then it's Jason opening the door, and the nails come down and like crush his head, and then he falls over dead. And then he wakes up later. He's just like, I'm gonna kill those rednecks. That's the last thing I do.
You know, and everything just keeps killing him.
And then he comes up to the wood chipper, and he picks him up. They resist, and they kick him into the wood chipper, and he dies. And then he respawns in the lake, and he's just like, God damn it!
I think it'd just be funny if they were looking in the wood chipper like, think something got clogged in there? And it's like, no, it seems to still be running all right, you know? It's like, all right then. And he's just about to like, you know, machete him whenever like they just both move out of the way. And he's like, whoa! Just falls out.
And then all of a sudden they see a pair of legs. They pull the legs out. They're like, are you okay?
That's a great fucking movie.
It is a good movie. Tucker and Dale
Meet
versus
Jason.
Evil.
Fuck the game. That's the movie that
Tucker
needs to come
and Dale
out.
versus Jason. Meet
Jason or versus Jason, but they don't know it's versus.
Yeah.
Like they never even see him or know that he's trying to kill them.
Yeah. They just see him. He's like, I think there's a guy there wearing a hockey mask. He must be Canadian.
Yeah. Now we got to make a good first impression on him. I don't want you to go having him think we're some idiot redneck hicks.
It's like,
where'd he go? You know,
like where'd he go? Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and then they turn around and they're just like, oh, sorry, you want some maple syrup? Damn, he wants some Canadian bacon, and pulls out a thing of ham, and Jason's just like, and he slices the Canadian bacon. He's like, oh, you like it sliced? I'm sorry about that.
That would be so fucking funny.
It would be, but we just have to get Alan Tudyk back to play Tucker.
Yeah,
he'd probably do it because he's up for almost anything. Actually, did you hear I don't know if you all heard the story where Alan Tudyk and Nathan Fillion pretty much gave Justin Bieber the cold shoulder at a Halo event. They were up there, they were playing, I think it was Halo 4 or Halo 5, and they were sitting there, they were playing and all this and all that. There was like 10 stations where you could play it, and him and Nathan Fillion were playing like co-op and everything. And then this big bodyguard dude comes in, he taps Alan Tudyk, he taps Nathan Fillion on the shoulder, and Nathan Fillion, he's just like stops playing, looks up at this bodyguard dude, and the bodyguard's just like, "Yeah, y'all got to get out of here. Justin Bieber's gonna play in here. He needs to play in here." And he looks around. He's just like, "There's all these open stations, man. I mean, there's like 9 more stations he can play at." And then he's like, "No. Bieber said he doesn't want anyone else in here." And then Nathan Fillion just looks up and says, "Yeah, that's not happening." It was honestly one of the best things ever. And I'm just like, you have automatically earned my eternal respect, Nathan Fillion. You are the man.
He already had mine.
Well, he already had mine too. It's just that's even more awesomeness.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah, I really hope Tom Cruise kicks Justin Bieber's ass.
If that's a real thing, I hope so
well,
too.
Everything I keep hearing about it is like, yeah, you may think this is a joke, but such and such's agent and such's agent are all being like, yes, Tom Cruise is definitely down for this. He does his own stunts and all this shit. This would just be another chance for him to prove he's the fucking man.
Well, I figured that, the thing is, Tom Cruise is like, how tall is Tom Cruise? I have to know this now.
He's not very big. Neither is Justin Bieber, though. I mean, really.
5'7". That fucker is 5'7".
Look up how tall Justin Bieber is.
5'9", so he's only 2 inches taller. That's not bad. That's not a bad height differential. I mean, I'd tune both of their asses up. All I'd have to do is just lay on top of them.
It's like when Brad Williams made the joke about them, the top 5 like famous little people. It was like the number 1 is Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones.
Understandable.
Like, he's like, I'm number 4, and like number 5. What was that girl's name again? Oh yeah, Justin Bieber. He's like, I told that joke once, and Justin Bieber was actually in the audience, and he was pissed.
Love Brad Williams.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a fucking dwarf.
You look back on your career, and you're a man, but you've made a majority of your money off of like 11 to 13-year-old girls, and that's still your primary fan base when you're a full-grown ass man. You might be a bitch.
I'm just saying. I'd like to see you and Bieber in a fight. You kill him.
I mean, why would I even want to fucking endorse anything with him?
Chad doesn't
well,
have
actually, you know what it is? Dana White will just walk up to you and be like, "Here's $1 million."
I mean, for the money, I wouldn't fight it because it's Justin Bieber would be fucking irrelevant at that point. I'm gonna be a millionaire, bitch. Welcome to primetime, bitch.
Exactly. That's where my mind's at.
Look, man, I there are not a lot of people that I wouldn't fight for $1 million.
I wouldn't fight you for $1 million. You're my boy.
We would work that shit like
yeah,
a
we
motherfucker.
would.
Are you kidding
We'd give
me?
him some Rocky shit. Like, I'd pull a comeback,
It'd be
you'd pull
faker
a
than that
comeback.
Mayweather fight in Japan.
Yes, I can definitely work with that.
Yeah.
You and me can definitely work with that.
Give me a couple of thigh kicks. I'll start holding my leg. You just hit me with a shot to the face. Done. It's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, I just like deliver like the stiffest or like the softest like jab to the face.
We would be rolling in the money.
Yes, we would. I mean,
And who's to say the Tom Cruise Justin Bieber fight wouldn't be a work? It'd probably be fake.
It probably would be. Tom Cruise would probably just be like, Justin, if you want to go over, man, I mean, I'll take half your paycheck just to make you look tough.
So what would Freddy Krueger say if he killed Justin Bieber?
I think he'd probably, I don't know, he makes some sort of joke related to like
baby or something,
stabbing him in the nuts or something.
No.
And just make your voice high again, bitch.
No, I know what it would be. He'd like stab him in the ribs, like both between his ribs, and he'd pull his ribs out and he'd be like, I guess I got me some baby back ribs, bitch. Yeah, because baby. He'd probably do a reference to sorry, like he'd stab Justin and be like, sorry, baby.
Sorry, bitch.
Sorry, bitch. I could see that.
Yeah, cut out his tongue and just be like, oh, much better.
Yeah. No, I don't got to hear you anymore, bitch. God, we have gotten off the rails with this.
You're a bitch. Yeah. Bitch.
Use a
anyway.
bitch. That's almost the equivalent of your mom gay. No,
yeah.
You.
No.
You.
Nah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. This was Nightmare on Elm Street 4, the Dream Master Kill Count by Dead Meat. If you want to see more from James A. Janice and his crew, link is in the description down below. Check out his channel, subscribe, comment, like on all of his videos. This guy is awesome.
Yeah, he does really good work.
Yes,
Indeed.
he does. And, yeah, if you want to see more from us, we have a subscribe button right down there. And hit that bell to stay notified whenever we put out a new video. And, hey, if you want to check out more from us, I mean, we have a Patreon, we have a Discord. We got a whole assortment of things. So, I guess until then, that's going to do it. I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
I'm Chad.
And we will see you all in the next one. Peace out, bitch.